Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome back to our 11th lecture now. It is about using examples, writing a paragraph using examples, exemplification paragraphs. It is chapter 12 in your book, the Right Start book. You know that one of the most popular and effective methods for developing a topic is through the use of examples. Using examples can develop a topic very quickly and clearly and help hold the reader's attention. So the use of examples help developing the topic very quickly, very clearly. And it also attracts the attention of the reader. Maybe you have heard a friend saying, "My job is terrible." Your thought might be the question, why? Why is your friend's job terrible? So you have examples for this terrible job. Why is it terrible? What makes the job so terrible? What does your friend have to do that makes her feel this way? Your friend might respond with specific examples, like, for example, the boss is a tyrant, working several hours after closing is a frequent demand, and the pay is low without any benefits. By recounting several examples, your friend supports and clarifies the general critical view of the job experience. Detailed examples are used why? To convince, to clarify, and to illustrate, and to make a concrete general idea about the subject or the topic. For instance, the following subjects are accompanied by a list of examples that might be used to develop the subject in the paragraph. Let's see these examples. For example, if the topic is about cars, we have to mention examples of these cars, like what? Honda, Chrysler, Volkswagen. If you are going to talk about cheeses, you are going to mention examples of these cheeses: Gouda, mozzarella, cheddar, and also in other topics or subjects you have to mention examples when you want to write exemplification paragraphs. The topic sentence. This topic sentence should be written in each paragraph, in each type of paragraph, whether it is descriptive, whether it is about using examples. You have to mention the topic. The following is a topic sentence for an example paragraph. The subject, controlling idea, developing focus, and developing examples are given. When I say developing focus, it means what type of questions are you focusing on? We said that in chapter 9 that we have 6 questions: who, what, where, when, why, and how. So the focus will be on one of these questions. Sometimes it is more than one question. Sometimes you can focus on 2 or more. Let's see this example. Topic sentence: President Roosevelt was a successful leader during World War II, overcoming many obstacles. This is the topic sentence. What is the subject or the topic here? It is Franklin D. Roosevelt. We are going to talk about President Roosevelt. This is the topic. This is the subject of this paragraph. Okay, so what is the controlling idea? The controlling idea is overcoming problems. Here, overcoming many obstacles. This is the controlling idea that you are going to mention some examples. How did he overcome these obstacles? Developing focus, the question will be what? It means what? What are these problems that Roosevelt overcame? Developing examples, we are going to mention some examples related to these problems. Like what? Like isolationist, Congress, illness. These are examples. So this is an outline of exemplification paragraph. A paragraph that mentions examples. This is an outline. So you have always be careful about the topic sentence, how we write it. Okay, when I give a homework, you have to be careful to mention the topic sentence with its two parts, the subject and the controlling idea. You have to limit what is the subject, and you have to be specific to tell me what is the controlling idea. Now, this is a finished paragraph of the previous outline. This is the outline, okay? And now, this is the finished paragraph. President Roosevelt was a successful leader during World War II, overcoming many obstacles. This is the topic sentence with its two parts. The topic, which is President Roosevelt, and the controlling idea, which is overcoming many obstacles. Now we're going to mention these obstacles by using the transition expressions, like, for example, the American people were overwhelmingly isolationist, not wanting to go through the horrors that they remembered from World War I. Another hurdle was Congress's passing of a number of neutrality laws intended to prevent America from entering the war in Europe. Personal problems also had to be overcome. For instance, Roosevelt had to deal with poliomyelitis, a disease that he had contracted in 1921. Eventually, Roosevelt's ideas won out when Congress passed his Lend-Lease legislation after Germany's defeat over France in 1940. If you analyze this finished paragraph, you will see that it has four main elements, four main parts. The topic sentence, which has two parts, topic and controlling idea. The focus development, that is what, and the examples, which are mentioned here, the transitional expressions which are used to illustrate these examples. Each example helps what? To clarify, explain, and develop the controlling idea that President Roosevelt overcame adversity to be successful. Now let's see the transition expressions that are used for introducing examples. Transition expressions help to connect related ideas and add what? Add rhythm to a piece of writing. In the example paragraph above, transition expressions such as, for example, another example, for instance, eventually. These are the transition expressions that are used to announce to the reader that an example is forthcoming. When I use one of these transition expressions, I tell the reader that there is an example is forthcoming. Use transition expressions in your example paragraph so that the examples don't appear merely as a list, okay? When you use the transition expressions, your paragraph will appear as a paragraph, not a list of items. Examples should act in unison to develop the subject in the topic sentence. Again, why do we use examples? To develop the subject in the topic sentence. Here are examples of transition expressions that can be used for example paragraphs, such as a case in point is, another example of, another instance of, another illustration of, for example, for instance, to illustrate specifically. Let's see this activity, practice 1, analyzing an example paragraph. The following is an example paragraph written by a student. Read the paragraph and check to see whether it has all the elements for an example paragraph. When I say for all the elements, we have 4 elements. That is, the topic sentence with controlling idea, a development focus. The question here is one of the 6 questions, or it can be more than one. 3 or 4 development examples, And these are the support sentences. Transitional expressions. Look at the finished paragraph here and try to find these 4 elements. Shortly after I started taking care of my father, I came to realize that there was never any time for myself, much less my family. I rarely ever have the time to play with my children, help my daughter with her schoolwork, or spend time with my husband. My father requires a tremendous amount of my time, which prevents me from being a mother as well as being a wife. Most of the time, I feel as if I am missing out on a great deal of my children's lives due to the fact that I have become a primary caregiver. I have felt like a prisoner in my own home since the stroke. I have a great fear of leaving my home in the event that he may need me. My husband tries to take me out for dinner and a movie to give me some sense of relief from all of the stress, but I always decline. I would never be able to live with myself if something were to happen to my father and I weren't at home to receive his call for help. Because I have become a recluse, our vacations are spent at home, sitting by the phone. With the fear of leaving the house because of my new responsibilities, family members are reluctant to make plans with me due to the fact that I always have to decline. They began to treat me differently as well as see me as a different person. Now, I want you to analyze this example paragraph and try to tell me what is the topic, what is the controlling idea, what is the development focus, the question that you are going to focus on, what are the development examples, and what are the transition expressions. Please prepare this at home for Zoom meeting. Analyze this example paragraph and find these elements from it. Plan an example paragraph. For each of the following topics, choose a controlling idea and write a topic sentence. Afterwards, choose a development focus, one of the questions, and list the 3 development examples. Do not use the same development focus idea more than once. So you have to use only one focus idea in these examples. Now, look here. This is an example. Then later on, I want you to do as this example. The topic is bad eating habits. This is the topic, the subject. Controlling idea, cause illnesses. And please pay attention how you can write your outline. When you write your outline, as I checked many paragraphs, some of the students still cannot know what is the topic, what is the controlling idea, how to connect them together and write the topic sentence. So in each lecture you will see an example of an outline of analyzing a paragraph. Please, you can study them well in order to know how to form a controlling idea, a topic, and connect them together to be a topic sentence for your paragraph. Here, again, the topic is bad eating habits. The controlling idea that you are going to focus on is cause illnesses. These bad habits cause illnesses. We connect these together, these 2 parts together, to form the topic sentence that is poor eating habits can cause many serious illnesses. So this is the topic sentence. Poor eating habits can cause many serious illnesses. Development focus is what? Because I'm going to ask myself, what are these serious illnesses? Then they are going to be written here. Development examples as examples: anorexia, bulimia, diabetes, osteoporosis. These are examples of the serious illnesses as a result of bad eating habits. Now, I want you to make an outline for this topic. Studying. What is the controlling idea? And what is the topic sentence when you connect these two parts together? What is the development focus, the question that you are going to focus on? And what are the examples? Just write ideas, don't write full sentences. When we ask you to write support sentences, development examples, do not write full sentences. You are going to have only ideas, phrases, words, single words. Okay, this will be for self-preparation. Prepare it yourself for Zoom meeting. Writing example paragraph. Now the previous outline, we're going to now write a full paragraph about that outline. Here we have the example, bad eating habits, and the controlling idea cause illnesses. The topic sentence, poor eating habits can cause many serious illnesses. The development of a focus is what? And the development examples are these three examples. Now we're going to form a paragraph out of this outline. This is a finished paragraph. Poor eating habits can cause many serious illnesses. For example, because my young girls are pressured to try to emulate fashion models, their lives are threatened by becoming anorexic and bulimic. It is not only young people who are threatened by eating related diseases. In fact, both young adults and older adults can develop diabetes. Senior citizens are not exempt from problems either. Specifically, osteoporosis often afflicts the elderly after many years of poor eating. Osteoporosis often afflicts the elderly after many years of poor eating. In order to combat these diseases, eat a well-balanced diet and don't snack on unhealthy foods between meals. This is a finished paragraph. You have to read it carefully. You have to tell me what is the topic sentence, and it is clear here. Poor eating habits can cause many serious illnesses. The topic is poor eating habits, and the controlling idea is can cause many serious illnesses. And here is the focus on what? Focus question is what? And these are the examples. And of course, we have transitional expressions. Transitional expressions, like for example, this is one of the transition expressions to tell examples. If you read here, like specifically also, if you read it carefully, you can underline these transitional expressions. Write your final exemplification paragraph draft for your previous outline. Now, I told you that I want you to prepare an outline for the topic studying, and that will be discussed in Zoom session. After writing the outline, I want you to write the full paragraph about studying, taking care of the elements. Using one extended example. Sometimes you do not have to use 3 examples, 4 examples. You can use only one example, and this example is very long and very detailed. So sometimes you might want to use only one very detailed example to develop the topic rather than many shorter examples. This type of longer, more detailed example is called what? Is called an extended example. Extended means long. To complete focusing on the same example. For instance, you might want to discuss how children's television programming can help educate preschool children. And instead of discussing many different programs, you could decide to focus on one program, okay, that is particularly effective. Here I mean, instead of giving many examples of many programs, TV programs for the children that affects their pre-learning, you can use only one example of a paragraph and you can talk about it in details. The most successful and popular program would be a good choice because your readers have most likely heard of it and would be more willing to accept what you have to say. Let's see this example. This is an example of extended example. So here in this paragraph, there is only one example used, but it is a long example, detailed example. Sesame Street continues to help preschool children learn to enjoy learning as well as to get a head start on their education. Sesame Street, this is the name of the program that children use to watch before going to schools. For instance, so this is the topic sentence. This is the topic sentence. The topic is Sesame Street. The controlling idea is helping preschool children to start on their education. For instance, basic math processes such as adding and subtracting usually are illustrated with everyday objects such as piece of pie and fruit, for these are objects with which the toddlers are familiar. Another instance, this is a transitional expression. Okay, another instance of blending instruction into the entertainment occurs at the beginning of each broadcast. Instead of advertisers sponsoring the show are sponsored by a different number and letter of the alphabet each day. The letter and number are integrated into the many sketches that pop up throughout the program. For example, look here. For example is also another transitional expression. Count, count, the vampire will count bats, spiders, and lightning bolts, always emphasizing the sponsoring number. Another example, this is also a transitional expression, occurs when a spelling game emphasizes words that contain the sponsoring letter. By mixing educational information with entertaining characters and skits, Sesame Street, this is the name of the program, has helped millions of young boys and girls see learning as both fun and useful. Okay, so notice, however, that whether many examples or one example is used, the same elements are used in the paragraph. So, if you are using many examples or only one extended example, still we have the same elements of the paragraph, which are subjects. The subject here is children's educational television. Okay, children's educational television, that was what about Sesame Street. The program is Sesame Street in this educational television. The controlling idea helps children enjoy learning and learn some basics. So it is helpful for educational learning. Topic sentence now is Sesame Street, that is the subject, Sesame Street, that is educational television or the program, continues to help preschool children learn to enjoy learning as well as to get a head start on their education. This is the controlling idea, talking about the learning of the children, the preschool children from this program, Sesame Street. Development focus is what? What are they learning from this program? Development example, only one example, that is Sesame Street. Also notice that transition expressions are used to announce examples and keep the number of examples from appearing as merely a list. So, the function of using transition expressions is to make these examples not appearing as a list, but they appear as well unified paragraph. Analyzing an example paragraph. In this paragraph from an essay, online schools provide new educational options by the Associated Press. Some of the elements of education via the internet are identified. Answer the questions following the paragraphs. We have here a paragraph and we have questions that we have to answer after reading it. Classes are held by computer. Teachers and staff work from a central office and students sign from their homes, desktop, or laptop computers. Standards for teachers ideally are the same as those of traditional schools. It's not all reading, writing, and arithmetic. In gym class over the web, pupils keep daily logs of their exercises. They learn music theory online, then go to a designated campus for piano or guitar lessons. They fax, email, or bring in art projects completed at home. Parents even dial in for an online PTA meeting. These are the questions for discussion, and please read the previous paragraph carefully. Try to analyze it to know the topic sentence, the focus, the development focus, what is the question, and the examples that are used. Then you have to tell me what are the transitional expressions. Here we have the questions. What specific examples cited in the first paragraph are the same elements you would find in a regular school? I want you to list the examples that are found in the first paragraph, and these examples are shared and found in every school, in any regular school. In the second paragraph, what examples are identified that make online art education and PTA meetings different than in traditional education? You have to find these examples and write them. Number 3, point out where in the two paragraphs transitional expressions would have been effective. Again, you have to underline the transitional expressions. Homework. Write an example paragraph about one of the following topics, and this homework will be put later on. I will tell you when to submit it. We have these topics. You can choose only one topic to write about. For example, we have buildings, function or architectural style, study habits, phobias, musical styles, art, restaurants, heroes, real or fictional, a real hero or a fictional hero. You can choose one topic and try to make an outline as we saw before in the previous slides. Then from that outline you can write your example paragraph. Here this is a self assessment test. You can check either true or false, and if it is false, tell me why is it false. Try to correct it. This will be for you to do at home and will be discussed in Zoom meeting. Thank you for listening. Stay safe and healthy, and goodbye for now.